endemic that has forced the government to suspend learning until next year. Many private schools who operate on rented premises may never reopen due to rent arrears running into several months. But what does the future hold for private schools in Kenya? Shadrach Miti with the details.
Whereas life for teachers in public schools employed by the Teacher Service Commission has remained normal since schools were closed due to COVID-19, private schools have borne the brunt of school closures, with many of them deciding to lay off their teaching and non-teaching staff.
They have never received any salary and they are going through a very difficult time. They lack food and they are facing an imminent starvation. Most of them have been kicked out of their houses because they are unable to pay house rents.
Tunaomba walimu wetu katika hii kazi kwa vijana wapewe first priority, kwamba wafanye kazi waweze kujisaidia pia maisha.
Teachers and owners of private schools had hoped that the Minister of Education would intervene in their situation. But recently, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha appeared to distance the government from playing any direct mitigation role in the plight of private schools.
That since you chose voluntarily to take your child to a private school and you want that school to remain there, then the onus is for you to meet, the parents to meet the school and agree on what proportion that is going to make sure that your teachers don't go away.
There are nearly 300,000 employees directly employed in private schools, and unless owners, managers and parents agree on the way forward as advised by Education Cabinet Secretary, all these are on the brink of becoming jobless, at least for the next 6 months. And there is another constituency of teachers who have all of a sudden found themselves in no man's land. These are 75,000 teachers working in public schools, employed by boards of management. Even the CS for Education is clueless on how best to handle their situation.
BOM teachers, that's the very big elephant in the room. Are we together? Because normally it is not catered for by capitation. And I think you should get that very clearly. So there is going to be a challenge there. And I think each school will find a way and a solution to deal with it.
Private schools are the first line employment for most graduates from teacher training colleges and universities increasingly. Combined with BOM teachers, you find that they tend to be quite young, with young families. So this particular issue of lack of pay has been very harsh on teachers.
Observers are warning that the current situation facing private school teachers and those employed by boards of management in public schools is not good for the future of education. According to Kenya Private Schools Association, there are about 2.5 million primary school learners in private primary schools and a further 400,000 learners in private secondary schools. There are growing fears that unless immediate short-term and long-term measures are taken, private education providers are likely to close shop.
Walimu wengi wameamua kwenda kutafuta kazi mahali pengine, wale wenye shule wameshindwa kulipa rent. Kwa hivyo sasa mimi naweza sema hizo shule watu watakuwa na shida kubwa, na tunajua au watoto wote wenye wanaendanga hizo private schools watakuwa by January watakuwa wanahamishwa na wazazi wao pia watoke hizo private waende public.
Kenya Private Schools Association Chairperson Mutheu Kasanga says they are still engaging the government on the possible way forward.
So from matters COVID-19, and we head through